Good vibes always.
Cokobar. When you've delivered it, move on to the next. Come on now, let's go. Hello, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, uncle and aunties, boys and girls, males and female, he's and she's, they and them, future people, everybody. Welcome to HD. Of course, you're watching us on high definition, but no, that's not what this is. It's not just high definition. This is Hero's Diary, the show that celebrates the hero's journey. The journey of the young guy or the young boy or young girl who have started from absolutely nothing. Sometimes from really underprivileged background, sometimes from depraved background, sometimes from discrimination, sometimes from racism, sometimes from all of these things. And then they've gone on to become something that the world now talks about, that the world admires, that the world bring out their hard-earned sweat, hard-earned money to go and pay for their service. This is what we're celebrating here. But not just anybody, people like us, people from our race, people from our background. I'm talking specifically black people. We know what we have to undergo. We know what we have to go through to get to where we are today. But then there are some of us who've excelled. Despite the shortcomings, despite the challenges, despite the hardship, despite they've made it happen. That's what this show is about. So yes, welcome to the show. My name is Kenilola, or you might call me kenilola if you want. But yeah, let's get it right. Now, most of the time, I try to do this with someone else because especially when I've got a guest in house that I am scared. You know, I'm just like scared. Like I cannot handle these. He or she or on my own to try to bring someone else to run the show with me. And today I've got a really, really intelligent, and I deliberately say intelligent first before saying beautiful because I don't want to make it seem as if it's all about beauty. But intelligent, beautiful brain. She's a broadcaster, she's a presenter, she's a journalist. She's been with some of the big super names that you know in the industry, of course. And then she's here to run the show with me today. No man knows. What the guan?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Come on now. Loud it.
Producer extraordinaire, director. I'm trying to be like you.
Nah.
I see you came with the drip, you came with the jewels, you came with the diamonds.
No, don't hype me. I'm the one hyping everybody. Just leave me my little corner. Let me just hype everybody.
I have to give you a little, because you came through dripping on them.
Oh my
We appreciate it.
Oh my days. No.
I'll soon be like you, I'll soon be like you with the diamonds.
Nah. I want to be like you, babe. I'll be rolling with the big stars. I'll be rolling with Zenos and all these big boys and interviewing on the red carpet, on the big concerts and doing all this stuff. I want to be like you, girl.
I mean, I'm trying, Someone has to do it, so I chose to be me.
Come on now, looking all beautiful and smiley and just giving that little winky.
Good vibes always, good energy always, and, I do what I do.
Awesome. So thanks for coming on today to join me on this because, like I said, I was a bit scared to tackle on this legendary.
No, I got you on this one. It's a tag team.
Now you got me. Yeah. We can go. No. I fear not. Let's go. We've got on the show today. Hey God, legend, history, legendary of the big. Oh, come on, man! Like
the biggest of the big boys.
Now run it.
The biggest. Don Dada, Don D out here.
Al Pacino. Nah, not exactly Al Pacino. But, some people have paid their dues. With all due respect. Some people have paid their dues. They've been at it. They've really made things happen. You ever heard of the word Coco? Does it mean anything to you? Cokobar?
And Cokobar.com.
Cokobar.com.
The flight was good. It was, me and Ropo, we had a good time. We had some business discussions. But it's all good, yeah. I'm looking forward to the show. Like, it's really crazy. A lot of people have been showing me a lot of love since I got in. Like, people taking pictures and stuff like that, I really appreciate my fans, man. God bless you guys. You guys made this happen.
Cokobar. Oh, come on now. Ropo Akin, what's up, brother?
Hello, guys.
Yes.
All the hype.
All the hype, because you deserve the hype. You deserve the hype. We can't just
As a matter of
introduce
fact,
you.
listen,
small.
we always do something, and I've got to do it because I believe there's a hero in the house. No, I don't know how you greet people where you come from, but listen. That's a,
See the way we do. Okay, I'll show you. So I'm Zimbabwe, so I'm gonna illustrate how, as a Zim woman or as a Zim person, you would
let's see you do it.
give respect. Sorry, it's due. So you approach and you know, do a little curtsy. You shake their hand. And you give respect where it is due.
It is due. That's it. That's what royalties
Absolutely.
get. Baba, that's for you, bro. That's for you, man. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome.
Hey.
Bro, why are you being humble? Why are you trying to humiliate all this matter now? Yeah. All right. Listen. We're so glad to have you, man. And this is Ropo of Cokobar.com, and we're just gonna start with a very first sweet, straight up question that I believe you probably asked a few times, many times. What's Cokobar?
What is Cokobar? Well, of course, we started off as an event, regular weekly event, 2004, September. And at that time, it was a case of creating an environment for entertainment that's from Africa. Hence, the name Coco was like, let's have a name that sounds a bit African. And it was a case, I mean, it was always intended, I always intended on it being a website, that offered African services, on multi-levels, but you buy from a website. And I didn't quite have the full picture, but it was the idea at the time. And my name stuck, and I thought, okay, designed a very, very, horrible website. We did at the time, and we started off, I think at that time, events.
Did you design it?
Well, I don't remember, to be honest. It was just something at the time. And it was a case where let's have a name that sounds, and people could identify with it, and we started off events then till 1 a.m., I think, and slowly grew from that point on. And it was a case of, I'd been in the UK for 3 years, then, and I'd always done events before then, in Nigeria. So it was a case of replicating the same thing and having the audience that wanted to go out like me into a space where we could engage ourselves, on the same level. And that's what it was. It was a simple thing that I wanted to do, and we carried on.
So it was like starting something from hobby.
Well, yes, I mean, but I did it through my uni, for.
What year was that?
Unilag.
Come on now, Coca.
The infamous Unilag. I mean, I'm not even Nigerian, and I know about Unilag. I feel like it produces all the legends in the game, particularly in entertainment industry.
Well, a lot of people won't agree with that, but
No?
yes, let's carry on, man.
Yeah, but I mean, that was it. So I started off doing that here, and it carried on. As it metamorphosized into more and more of the same, and different aspects of it. And I kept on seeing the audience grow, and we sought to satisfy the audience as they grew, and as they became older, we found industries or entertainment that appealed to them, and we realized we had a big spectrum to appeal to. So we kept on looking at all sorts of entertainment or events that could appeal to that audience, and that's what it was.
With your beginning, did you imagine it would get to this level? I'm sure around 2004, 2005, Afrobeats wasn't what it is now. And with Afrobeats growing, I'm sure your audience has grown, particularly those who subscribe to the Cokobar lifestyle at this point, essentially, and the entertainment that you provide. Did you imagine this is where we would be today in 2023?
Well, I always thought it would grow. And the intention was to grow with it. I mean, if you think about it, the guys that were 15 in 2004 have kids now. So it was a case of we would appeal to this audience as
That's
they
me,
changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was a case of we carried on, and it will continue growing. That's just the beast of the game, and you just carry on, changing for it as it grows.
But how do you identify the audience, though? More specifically, how do you create stuff that people want?
I don't know.
Bro, how do you not know? How do you not know who you are?
No, but
you don't know
the
yourself.
thing here is that you don't know what is going to be entertaining tomorrow.
Right.
At times you follow your intuition a lot of times, and at times because you're in this space, you see certain things that most people are not seeing. You know, you're in a concert, people are reacting, everyone's looking at the show, looking at stage, you're looking at the audience, and you're seeing how people are reacting, and you feel like, okay, this will sell this way. If there's 5 people reacting this way, there's probably another 1,000 somewhere that will react this way. You know, and you look at it and you start to build.
Wow.
I mean, you really can't say, you can't say that this is what will happen, but you follow your intuition, you know, when you make those decisions. I mean, it's like, right now we do a lot of gigs in Europe, and let's say 10 years ago, Europe was not the frontier, and I don't think that many people are looking at Europe at the moment, but there are lots of people of African origin or friends of Africans that are based in Europe, and they're the frontier. They're interested in the game, and it's a case of who is going there to offer this service to them, you know. And you know, we've managed to penetrate in that way, and we seek to replicate the UK.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought you touched on something really important for me there. Intuition. Are you always right?
No, not always right. I've had a greater percentage of being right. But you're not always right. You make mistakes. You make a lot of mistakes that can be very painful. Yeah. But then you learn from it. And you make sure you don't make that mistake again.
I'm sure. I don't.
But then you don't know.
You make mistakes. Nah.
No, you make mistakes.
Not.
I mean,
I'm perfect.
Obviously. But no, you make a lot of mistakes, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You do. I mean, we have had gigs that are empty, you know, and
Wow.
not
Cokobar. Not Cokobar.
Or full, and you know that it's exciting for everyone, but you've lost money while everyone's had a good time, and you leave with less than you put in. You know, a lot less than you've put in. But then, you know, that's the base. That's the game.
But let's talk about that though, because I feel for someone else, their gig being empty, you've put in, let's just say, for example, £5,000 into a gig. You only manage to return £3,000 and you're actually at a deficit by the end of that gig. Someone else wouldn't be able to come back. So how do you put your boots back on and say, do you know what? Tomorrow we try again. Because for someone else, it's the knockout that leaves them on the floor.
Well, I can only talk from experience of how we managed out of such a situation. It knocks you back. It knocks you back. And I mean, I think after you've done it so many times, you just accept it as another thing you're doing. You just accept it as part of what you're doing. You look at it as part of the annual turnover, if you like. You know, because you're losing now doesn't mean you lose tomorrow. And you're losing now doesn't mean your net overall is the same is that, you know. But it's I think it's, I mean, I've been at it for some time, to be honest, and I've just accepted that, you know, losing is part of growth.
I'm interested to hear about a particular story you may have told before that left you in your bed with your phone switched off for 5 days. Can you tell us about that?
You have read my Facebook page. You have read my Facebook page. You have. I mean, this was 2012. I mean, I've had several incidents like that where I've been, not several, but I've had 2 major ones that have, you know, kind of almost run me bankrupt, if you like. You know, you spend a lot of time trying to get out of it. I mean, a good one would be 2012. That's the P Square gig at the Hammersmith Apollo.
Right.
You know, that looked good for everyone, but we lost heavily because at that time it was a lot of money to pay them. And we had the gig. And, you know, I remember then, I mean, this is a story I'm actually reading online, you know, and I'm sure you read it. That's why you asked that question. You know, everyone left. And I remember sitting on stage and looking at the empty venue. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've lost everything here, you know. And I remember driving to the West End. I sat in a bar. I just thought to myself, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? You know, this was the end of the month. It was kind of a weekend. Yeah. End of the month. No. It was mid-August. That's what it was. Because I was doing the Olympics, if I remember. And you know, I sat there and I just drove home, just thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? You know, I have collected the wife's money, so gone. So, and mine was gone also. So anyway, but the thing is, I got back and I just locked myself. I just thought, okay, fine. Let's just, it was the end of the month. The mortgage was in 2 days or 3 days. Yeah, so, and it was
And
how
your
do I
wife was texting.
No, she's a wonderful person. She wasn't thinking of all of that, but she didn't quite know what was going on anyway. But so I remember then I got back and I thought to myself, how am I going to get out of this? I didn't have a clue how I'd do it, and I think I just laid in my bed just thinking, oh my goodness, and I just switched off my phone. And I just thought, look, whatever's going to happen, let it happen. So I was up till, I think it was a week after that, and I'd gotten calls from people that spend a lot of time with me, and they called me continuously, they get hold of me. And I remember one of the younger men that works with me, still works with me today. I'll not say his name because it embarrassed everything I said.
No worries.
And he called my wife and said, where is this man? We're looking for him. And then he came over to my house, and then he met me. I was like, look, what's going on? I'm like, we're fine. Everything's good. I was like, no. I know you. Something is going on. And then I remember then he had school fees. He had his school fees at the time. Look, this is my school fees. I'll give it to you.
Wow.
What? Just, I know it went bad. I'm like, yeah. Because all the production guys didn't bother calling me. They knew it was a good time.
But what went bad, actually?
It was an expensive gig to do. Everything was so expensive.
You mean you put in so much?
We put a lot and we didn't get the return. We didn't sell enough to cover whatever we did.
Right.
And we owed everyone. And but we got out of it. At that time, I remember the school fees paid my mortgage at that time. And, and I thought, okay, look, just give me some time. I'll sort it out. Let's just, And I used to run regular gigs then. And I remember the weekend I was driving to the venue, and then I got halfway and a red light from the petrol came on. And I couldn't buy petrol.
Oh, damn. Wow.
It was that.
I
But anyway,
just listed P-Square.
sorry. And everyone was saying, congratulations, beautiful show.
Wow.
So anyway,
Wow.
we got off. I ended up driving with half an empty tank. It was red. Got to the venue and just reclined my seat and slept, in the car. And I remember at the end of the night, he came up to me and said, he used to call me uncle at the time. I wonder why he called me uncle. I said, look, I've got 200 quid here, which we made. There you go. And I was like, okay. And I looked at him and said, fine. I drove to the filling station, filled up the car, and just went home. Wow. But as it went, we carried on. I remember one of our directors now. We were talking, and he said, look, let's talk about what you're doing. I'm like, yeah. And I remember that we had I had the AY show was
okay.
It would typically happen in November at that time.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I'm not having this gig anymore. There's no point having it. And I remember then he said to me, why are you going to do this gig? And I'm like, he said, well, look, we'll record it. This was OHTV at the time. And
Akin Salami.
Yes.
Shout out to Akin Salami.
Yeah. So anyway, and he said, look, okay, let's do this gig. We'll pay. We'll float it. And I'm like, you sure? I said, yeah, float it. And tell me when you pay us back. I'm like, okay, let's see. And everyone gathered around me. Everyone came around and said, look, we've got to get this done.
Wow.
And I didn't realize I had such goodwill at the time.
Wow.
So and then we delivered the gig. It was a successful gig. Everyone got paid off. Every production guys came in without even a dime paying to them. They all just supported the gig. And it was a good gig. And everyone got paid off. And I think at that point, kickstarted the next, because no one allowed me settle down and say, I'm not doing this. But we carried on. And I think after that, we delivered the Afrobeats Festival, if you remember.
Yeah.
We I think Afrobeats was not that. It was after that we did some other gigs. I can't remember the gigs now. It's quite a while back now.
Too many gigs in the back.
And things moved on. Now 5,000 tickets is like you sell it in 5 minutes now.
Come on now.
But that's the difference. But you use that as experience to deal with the next problem.
Wow. Whew. I think in your case, what you've been able to establish is the bounce back ability. Coming to bounce back from this. But I think particularly what's happened is you've spoken about the goodwill, about people coming to join you, to come on board with you, to make your dream happen, even at your lowest point that you didn't see any sort of progress. What does it take to get to that point where people actually believe in your dream?
I think I say this every time. Trust is equity. Trust is valuable.
What does that mean? Trust.
Well, it's you trust equity. I mean, when people do trust you, you can. That's bankable.
Right.
To
build your trust.
You build a trust network. That's what it is. And once you build that, you literally can deliver a lot of things without the sort of capital people think you need to have.
But wait. How do they trust you if a show was just failed?
Well, you've had several gigs before. You've always paid. The way you come across helps out as well. Once you have that credit line and you deliver, people do realize people can
credit
look.
line.
Yeah, of course, the credit line. People look at you, and because that's how the UK works.
Right.
If you go into the supermarkets, you go into the industries, people have 30-day credit lines to do things, and I think that's open to everyone. If you build that, that trust network, and I think that's the future of everything. We book venues now, and we even put gigs on without even paying up front, and that's because of the equity of trust.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been trying to chase this Bros for a long time to get him to sit here. I'm gonna just put that out here. And first of all, shout out to you, man. Massive thanks for accepting to grace our humble scenario.
But you're doing a good job, guys.
Our humble scenario.
But you know what they do say, like you have to wait for good things to come. So the good thing was worth waiting for.
Was coming.
In this situation.
It was coming because each time we tried to reach out, it was going on the Fireboy concert in Berlin, in Poland, and I mean, you just finished that.
Yeah.
That was across Europe.
Yeah.
That's Fireboy in Berlin, in Warsaw, in all these European. What was that like? I mean,
I wasn't on that tour. I didn't go personally on that tour.
Okay.
But I had a team that followed him around.
Yeah.
It was good for him. It was good exposure. It was a case of him realizing his potential and where he didn't realize he had so much. I mean, when you see it online, but when you actually feel it and you see the 3-dimensional of it, you tend to have a different feeling. You tend to understand the 3D of your project and what you're doing, and that was, for him, that was the benefit of that tour. His numbers, according to him, was growing. As music numbers growing because he went to regions in Poland. He went to Warsaw. Went to Lausanne in Switzerland. He went to Tilburg in Amsterdam, in Netherlands, and then he's gone to Hamburg. Where else again? Berlin. I mean, but all these things are. I mean, it's testament to what I was saying about going to Europe, and for him it was good. For me, it was another opportunity to be explored.
Another ball in the
no, not as easy as it looks. It comes with its own.
Another ball in the hoop, just.
Oh no! But no, I think it's great now. But having to look at it, tell us where Afrobeat is right now. We have an idea. I mean, we're all thinking.
But what is the reality? Because I think sometimes that can be different. What we're seeing as the onlookers and what you're experiencing behind the scenes and what's the
insider perspective? You
can be different.
Well, Afrobeats is growing, certainly. It's got a wider audience.
Yeah.
Certainly. It's not as big as the mainstream. I always say that the audience for Afrobeats is like 2 to 3% of the UK. That's in the UK. And if you got 2 to 3% trying to buy tickets for a gig, that's not a lot. Because when you think about Ed Sheeran, that sold 6 dates at the Wembley, he's dealing with 99% of the audience.
Wow. Okay.
So for 2% to or 3% to sell out a stadium then you've done really well. You're trying to get 90% of that 2% out.
2%, yeah.
Or maybe 50% of 2%. He's got Ed Sheeran, he's got 5% of the 6 million. So it's an easier thing for him. So when you think of those things, we're doing well, for the market, but we're still got a long way to go. And the market for Afrobeats is not. If you look at UK centric, it's not UK like that. It is diaspora. And I call it diaspora country. It is diaspora. It is that audience that is traveling across the world and children of that audience and friends of that audience, and it's growing. but it's not as big as people think it is. We're spending more than an average gig, to deliver a similar gig. We've had enjoyment of like a Wizkid selling out 3 dates, but that's great. Yeah. If Wizkid wasn't African, or his music was more, if he wasn't really African, he would sell out 10 dates. Yeah. Or Burna.
Would he, though?
He will, because the audience he's dealing with is 3%. Don't forget that.
But don't forget that Wizkid sold out in minutes. He sold out
it
three
doesn't, it
events
doesn't
a
matter.
minute.
It doesn't matter.
So who else is out there selling out in minutes?
Okay. Ed Sheeran sold 90,000 tickets.
Well, Ed Sheeran is
I'm trying to explain. So 90,000 tickets. 90,000 tickets is 50. O2 is, everyone says 20,000, 16,500. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, 90,000. Divide that in 90,000. So now they're sold out, and the 19,000 sold out in minutes. So what I'm trying to say, Burna is doing the stadium now. It's virtually sold out as we speak. Right now. That's 65,000 people, and he sold that, and that is not a small feat, for the industry.
That's the Burna in the London Olympic.
In London Stadium, yeah.
How much are you getting for that?
What I deserve.
Wow.
What I deserve. So,
bro, you're cashing it, though. Can I be your assistant?
Honestly, please, are you hiring? Because I'm looking for a job now.
I think
we can be your assistant.
I think everyone wants to keep their job right now. I'm just saying that the achievements are big when we do these things. If you think about it, these things are not happening properly in their home countries. Properly, they're happening, but not properly because the infrastructure is not complete.
Yeah.
But you're leaving, traveling, and you're doing this from region to region is an expansion of the industry. So we are growing, we are cutting across the whole world. We have a better chance than some other ethnic backgrounds. But it's still a long way from getting to maximum potential.
So what will it take for Afrobeats to reach that level of the Ed Sheerans selling out 90,000 seats
in 9 minutes?
In 9 minutes, or to the Beyonce level? How much more do we have to go to get to that level?
We just have to keep on keeping on. That's the thing. We all don't know when it will get there.
Last.
Yes, we all don't know. And people are taking risks. You've got to give it to the Afro Nation team. They've taken big risks.
Shout out Svedi.
Yeah. So
Svedi.
Yeah, and for everyone that's looking properly, you tend to see the opportunity across, because not one person can do everything. And those sort of risks, as they start to happen, would open up other doors for people that look. So it's a case of paying attention.
Right, yeah, man. Still Hero's Diary, and as always, like we always say here, man, it's all about the journey of the hero. It's all about the challenges they have to overcome and things they have to do. And in a lot of cases, the David Goliath situation, where you get to be faced, or you are faced, or have to take on insurmountable challenges. We're talking risk here. Risk is, your line of work sounds like risk. It really sounds like your buddy,
your best mate.
Your best mate. Like it feels to me like you gotta take risk at every step, bro. Where do you find the courage to take on insurmountable challenges?
It becomes a habit after some time. You, through that habit, begin to build systems that manage some of those risks beyond what most people realize. A good example for us is, we own our ticketing platform, and we've been building that for some time.
Right.
So what that does for us is it makes cash flow easier for us, but we have to invest heavily in that over time. We are able to, of course we have, like I said, credit lines with partners, with institutions, with banks, with venues. But you only get that after you've invested heavily, after you've done it for some time, after some track record. So you need to invest heavily in that, and that takes time.
But tell us about like really big situations where you felt like this is not going to happen, and somehow you still went ahead and did it.
Okay, a good one is the Burner gig at the Wembley Arena. You know, we were in a partnership with another company. I just don't want to mention names because it can look funny.
Yeah.
They three. I think we had gone in. Everything was all structured. It was the first time we were going to do an arena, and after a point, they looked at it. I think he had the One Africa to do before his gig, which is the 3rd of November.
Wait, hang on. Is it Burna Boy at the O2 Arena?
At the Wembley Arena.
Wembley
Arena.
Right, okay.
And he had Wembley the 3rd of November, that was. And I think as of May, he had another gig in London somewhere, Ends Festival. And after that, some of the partners were like, look, they think he's overexposed himself. They didn't want to be part of this, arena gig. And we thought, oh my goodness. So, and it literally spoiled all the agenda. They're like, look, if it's good in One Africa, you can't be doing this, and they're pulling out. And we had the tour, and we had London, Manchester, and I think it was Nottingham we had at the time. And I went, look, you need to pay up for these venues, otherwise the gigs are all cancelled. I got really pissed off, actually. And we went ahead and just paid for it. And we delivered all the gigs, and every single gig sold out.
Wow.
And of course that's what I talk about. Now we learned the next level, since then we've done the O2 Arena, we're doing the stadium, all those sort of things, and in fact we've done a lot of arenas since then. But at that point it seemed unachievable. It seemed beyond us or beyond me. It seemed like that, but of course no one realized. But we just went ahead and delivered it out of sheer zeal. And I mean, we were meant to do 3 gigs, and then we booked Birmingham, and we sold that out. It was 4,000 cap at the time, and then the last gig was London, and sold everything out. Of course, the partners came back and said, well, can we talk? No, it's gone now. Things have moved on. But that kind of started the next level for us. And we've moved on since then.
Oops.
It's a lot. Like Kenny said, risk is a part of your day-to-day life now. Let's talk about the personal, not just the risk, but the sacrifice. I can imagine there's sometimes where you've had to put your personal needs last, maybe the needs of your family sometimes in terms of spending time or in terms of your own money that you're investing. Tell us about that, because I think sometimes we look at it and we're just seeing the glitz and the glamour, but there is there's a lot involved.
Let's take the Inyanya gig in 2014, where I did a Inyanya concert at the Brixton, and I put my car on stage as a lottery win. Yeah, my car then.
Wow.
It was a Yaris, I remember then. I mean,
Yaris?
Yeah.
Toyota Yaris?
Yeah, it was a Yaris. It was my company car.
Hybrid?
It was given to me by the company I work for, and it was...
Wait, your company gave you a car?
No, I worked in construction before I went into entertainment here. So,
okay. So it was now yours.
It was not mine.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, the gig was selling, but not as good as I'd like at the time. And I thought, okay, if I put this car as a lottery, if people bought tickets, they had the chance to and I fact up the car into the price of tickets. The gigs didn't still sell. And that was when my other lost me lots of money. So the car was on stage.
It's Yaris.
No. It wasn't Yaris. We had branded it well and all that. And in the end, I remember it didn't do well. The gig didn't do well, and I lost the car as well.
Wow.
So I had to give the car out.
Oh, you actually gave the car out?
I gave the car out. Whoever won, because we did a lottery on stage, give out the car, and I was like, okay, this is my wife's car.
What did madam do then?
No, but I had a second car, which was really a small, very small car. But it was a case of, look, it was a risk to take, and I didn't regret taking the risk, although it was very painful. But I mean, moved on.
Seriously.
She's a good woman.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to touch on that actually. Like, how do you keep madam to keep believing when things were not going on well?
I'm a good toaster.
Hey, give me that lyrics. You're telling her how
Honestly, maybe you need to be giving tutorials.
I think she knows me very well. We've been around, been around the block. I've been doing this thing from uni. It didn't just start today.
Not be today.
I have lost heavily in uni. And I have gotten on with it and moved on with it, and I always looked crazy to everyone.
Yeah.
And I just, kind of accepted the risk as part of it. I mean, there's something I say, that everyone's got a monkey on their back. And, as you strive and you get on, the monkey gets smaller and smaller. I read that from a book and I kept it as. So you got a very heavy monkey and you're sitting under the monkey and you're feeling like it's crushing you. But if you carry on working, the monkey gets smaller and smaller. You start to carry it and it becomes a pet. You just get on with it, after a while. Because if you live and wallow in it, you simply wouldn't move.
Tell us about your uni days, like your youth days. How did life as a child, as a youth, the experiences, the things you did, how did it shape up you being able to take on Wembley, O2, and all these?
My dad died when I was 17.
Right.
Yeah, and that was just before uni. So I had to deal with a lot of things my own way. And I think I started the gigs in my year 2 university, and it was a case where I lied down there and I was thinking to myself, okay, I need to do something because it's not working. There's one of my friends went clubs and all sorts, and come on, but it wasn't working. I wasn't going to go into the club. I wasn't interested in it. Well, I wasn't. You have the peer pressure, but it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
So I remember then sitting, okay, why don't you just wake up? And I mean, everybody's going to parties. They want to party, but they bounce half the guys. Why don't you create something where the people can pay and everybody can get in? And I remember doing that in university, and everyone thought, not everyone, people around me at the time thought, who do you think you are? No one knows who you are. You're in year 2, all these nice, handsome boys are doing stuff. Who cares about who you are? And I thought, okay, that's all right.
Were they implying that you're not handsome?
They're implying that I wasn't happy. I remember then, the girls in, that was Moremi Hall at the time.
Okay.
And I remember putting a banner on Moremi Hall. I remember that very well, ladies' night. And I said to myself, we're going to do this thing end of exams, because there's no gigs happening on the last day of exams then. Everyone had it before exams. So I thought, nothing happening. There's an opportunity here. I was in year 2. No one knew me. So I put the banner up. No one even knew who was doing it. And I was in every room just getting out flyers on my own. Everyone thought I was the flyer boy, in fact.
Wow.
Everyone, and I just, and I remember then was at the Den at GRA, Kedra. And I remember, it was a Tuesday. I remember the date, to be fair. It was 23rd of April.
Wow.
It was a Tuesday.
Is that a password in any of your...
No, it's not a
credit card?
I just remember. So, but the interesting thing here...
So we can start making...
Wait,
I can give you...
Get all the...
I feel like you have a history you want to tell us
O2
about.
and Wembley Arena millions.
So, I mean, the thing here is I remember that day, I got to the venue. After we're done with the work, I wasn't a happening boy. No one knew who I was, but I just thought this will work, and I went to the venue, and at 1 a.m. no one was there. 2 a.m. no one was there. I was like, oh my goodness. And I remember borrowing the money from my brother's friend at the time. 25,000 naira.
Wow.
This was crazy. It was crazy. For me at that time, it was crazy.
When was that?
This was, it's a long time ago. This was 1996, 97.
Wow.
96, I think. 95, I think.
Right.
And no one was there. 2 a.m. no one was there. 3 a.m. no one was there. I remember a friend of mine. We used to call him. His name is Fela, Albert. And he came into the venue about 4 a.m. He said, "Ropo, do you know what you have caused?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "The whole school is closed down." They thought it was a riot. I said, "What?" They shut down the school because there were so many people leaving to come to this groove that I was doing that.
That no one stand up.
What?
No. So it's like they opened the gates at 4. Then at 5 a.m., oh my goodness, the place was packed. I mean, I remember then it was 25,000. We made about 75,000.
Wow.
I was a student. I was 19 years old.
Wow.
So it was a case of, and I was just there looking at it. Oh my goodness. I remember driving home, and I was like, oh my goodness, 75,000.
Wow.
But that was, that for me, that kind of kickstarted a lot of things for me. And I remember I had to return everybody's funds, and I remember buying a CD player, 3 CD players. Yeah. But that was then.
I felt like the man.
Yeah. But it's sorts of things at the time.
Yeah. Something I was curious about you was you seem very low key for someone who most people would look at and think, wow, he's accomplished so much, he's done so much. And in a way, you're in the public eye, but you're still very private and almost like the hidden hand or the hand and the master puppeteer who's making things move. Things are moving, but you don't see who's making them move. Is that deliberate?
I think I'm like that, to be honest. I've never
Yeah.
been, it's not about promoting myself. It's promoting people that like being in front of the cameras. And the big boys in the industry who we're trying to be like, we all don't know who they are. The guys, like I've said it before, the guys at the CEO or the owners of Live Nation, you don't know who they are. Or the AEGs, these are the biggest promoters in the world, turning over billions.
Yeah.
So we're promoting an industry, not self.
Did you ever think maybe selling myself as a personality, as some of your other colleagues have done, would help in terms of promoting? Or you just thought, I don't want any parts of the social media, I don't want any parts of the limelight, I don't want any parts of the blogs or the...
I don't want any of that. That's just the basic thing. I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
I'm happy for everyone to be happy. I'm happy for everyone to feel good, about themselves, and
As long as the cash is
as
ready.
long as long as we're growing.
As long as the money they pay.
As long as it's an industry. We're building institutions, not people.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what we're doing.
for sure.
And people come out of built institutions as well.
For sure. With Afrobeats going forward,
Yeah.
do you think as it grows, are we at a risk of it being colonized or having so much outside influence that it becomes diluted?
There's no African music didn't start where it is today. It is diluted already. We've got the Afro pop, Afro beats, it was something else. I remember we danced to
Afrobeats.
We danced to Galala. at one
Afrobeat
point,
with the Z.
remember?
Afrobeat with the S.
It's not about being.
Afro-piano.
The thing here is that
all
look,
that.
we're changing every day. Our taste is changing every day. I'm of African origin. My kids are of African origin, but they listen to something different. You want a twist of that, a mix of something, and it's never going to be one thing. If you want to stay in one place, then you're not moving. So I think it is not being colonized. It's being invested in. And it's all left to who wants to benefit out of it. If you wait and you keep on fighting, someone is colonizing, you're wasting your time. You're just going to be. You'll be thinking, you're wasting your time. Yeah. You need to grow. If you want, why don't you just go into African countries and do it there, or you can do it there also. There's nothing stopping anyone.
Right.
So it's an industry we're capitalizing on. And if we don't capitalize enough on it, people that will already take the risk on your behalf will do it.
And we're not too late to start investing now? Or do you
People
feel
are.
like the ball's already rolling?
No, people are, and we all are. And you have to work with the stakeholders of the industry, on every level. We don't. People own venues, and you're allowed to own a venue, if you want to, but you have to be ready for the investment required, personal and financial.
Oh.
How do you deal with the egos? If you're going to work with a Burna Boy, with a Wizkid, these are egos. These are massive egos. Bro, how do you handle that?
It's an industry. It's part of your what you have to do. You have to understand who you're dealing with and why you're dealing with the person. Burna Boy he's a big ego, but he's a good guy.
Yeah. No, I don't mean ego in a bad sense,
no.
but these are
but
guys
you
who
have to
have
understand-
massive, reputations in
Yeah,
court.
but they have to be like that to deal with what they deal with. They face a lot of pressure.
Of course.
You have to understand that. You have to understand that. And I'll use Burna Boy because I work with him. Burna Boy, as a talent, is Burna Boy Limited. You're working for a business. That's what you're delivering. You're not working for him, as a person. The person is Damini. And he can be who he wants in his own space. When it comes to business, understand you're dealing with business. If that ego is part of the business, then it's part of your task. It's part of what you need to be dealing with. Wiz also is, of course they have to dealing with people in their faces every 5 minutes. They can't walk down the street without someone trying to take a picture with them. That is their company face. When they're behind the doors, they're different people. So if you're dealing with that, then you have to deal with that in that way. Make allowance for that. It's part of the drill.
So when you host this big concert and then you've got these big, huge, massive names coming in, how do you walk around the logistics of it? Like you rightly said, you can't walk down the street without people mobbing him. I mean, Wizkid is literally not going to walk down the street now. He can't. You are the one bringing them to town. How do you manage that?
Well, it's a job, first of all, and the companies that deal with these sort of things, I don't spend personal time with the talents. I mean, if I needed to, then it's just a banter chat about them personally, but it's not what the normal audience, what the normal fan wants to do. It's business. I'm working for you. You're employing us to do a service. So in terms of logistics management, the companies that do all that are used to that. And you need to provide for that logistics requirement. The other thing I would say is that when you deal with the talent, because you've dealt with him a certain way today, doesn't mean he'll be like that the next time you see him. You understand that?
Well, what does that mean?
What that means is they experience things around the world. And by the time he comes back to you the second time, you might have experienced flying a private jet. By the time he comes back to you, you need to understand that he's not the same person anymore. So when he's coming back to you, you need to be prepared for the next level.
Wow.
So because when you have experience, and you know when they're coming through a revolving door and when they're going out through a revolving door. So once you understand that, then you know the different stages. It's like you. I mean, you're not the same person you were 5 years ago.
Something like that.
He's wearing bigger chains now, bigger chains and bigger watches.
But it's just when you understand, and the growth we face as normal people, I call us normal people, might take us 10 years.
Absolutely.
But these guys, they're taking 5 days. So you've got to be aware and ready for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of growth, what is the future of Cokobar? What is the future of Ropo? What are we looking at in 5 years' time, 10 years' time?
Well, we're heavily investing in our ticketing platform. The Cokobar is an affiliate of another platform we have called Ticketser, which we're releasing into the marketplace, and we intend to, distribute that across the Afrobeats space for starters, across all our diaspora networks.
And Amapiano?
Well, across everywhere. It's every industry. That's what it is. But selling. That's where we're perfectly going into selling tickets for everything.
Wow, super amazing. Okay, let's come to the inspirational beats now and how we're beginning to wind things down a bit. So, Ropo, I mean, there's so many guys out there, so many guys and girls and whatever else there is out there, sort of looking up to people to people like you. Where what people like you have achieved is like a lifetime dream for them. There's people in Africa, there's people in all the remote parts of the world, there's young boys and girls who want to achieve what you have, but who kind of don't see that possibility. Maybe you've had the opportunity of going to Unilag, and I don't know, or maybe you've just had the opportunity of having that faith in yourself, that belief, that self-confidence, and that there are other people who don't have this opportunity for this training, for this development, for this faith, for this stuff in the remotest part of the world. But they'd like to be where you are. They'd like to be on this seat, to be talking to people about their accomplishments. How can they make this journey?
Well, I'd say focus is one of them. You make use of every opportunity positively. Have faith in yourself. It's not an easy thing. You can't really say this is the right way or the wrong way to do things. But you have, at times it's a case of what you carry. How much you believe in what you're doing. It's not always. I mean, I'm trying to answer that question, but I can't find the right answer. But you think about the opportunity exists for everyone. And it's not always what the next person is doing that is your direction. It's not always. You might have a different way of doing things. I can't really answer that question properly.
Bro, you've answered it in so many ways. Just carry on. You are actually making too much sense.
But for me, it's just focus on what you're doing, and don't get distracted by what the next person is doing. Take positivity out of everyone, or what you're saying, or I see people trying to work in such a way where they're condescending the next person. They want the next person to fail for them to succeed. I don't think that is the right way. I mean, the more you allow other people to succeed, and you open up, the more you get, coming your way, especially if you know what you're doing. But I mean, most people that don't want others succeeding don't really know what they're doing.
How do you deal with competition? That just came to my mind. I need to ask that quickly.
Yeah,
because
I don't.
very competitive field.
Well, I support everyone as much as we can. I mean, one of the things of developing a ticketing platform for us is to ensure that we can service everybody. That is, for me, my opening up. We have people that with the gigs you see us do, or you see that we're linked to, that's possibly not even us doing it direct. We see it, we're like, God, this guy's going to fail. Let's make it work for him. We'll make something along the way, which is our ticketing platform, and we have done it, and it succeeds, and thank you, and then you took all the risk. But the risk they're about to face, and you kind of make it easier for them.
I love that. I think what I'm going to take away from what you've just said is competition isn't always against you. It's also there to support you. It also can help you grow. It can also help you along your success.
That's correct.
Yeah. And that is all.
Hoops, we normally play a game here sometimes, and it's just throwing you on the spotlight. And then, like we said, this is Heroes Diaries, about celebrating heroes' journey and the black heroes, in which you are, by all means, one of our great heroes. Who is your mentor, and who would you like to see on that set talking about their journey?
Well, there's quite a few people. I mean, I'm not sure you know them.
Stick with one. Yeah. One. But you have one chance. One chance. One chance.
Well, and it's in the entertainment industry.
It can be in the money. Is it money industry? Preferably the money industry.
Look, one person that I'd always looked up to through my university and up to today, and I see him grow, is a guy called Chris Obosi. Yeah, well, I said you might. Well, Chris owns the Beat FM in Nigeria. Oh, right. He owns the Beat FM in UK. Right. He owns quite a few other things that I know. Right. And he's, like you said, he's a puppet master. He's the one behind the scene making a lot of things that happen today. Work within the music industry. And I've known him since he was at Cool FM. He was the MD of Cool FM when I met him. And he's grown. He owns, I can't mention. He owns he owns a company called Megatronics. You can check it out. Wow. So he owns Beat FM in Kenya, in Nigeria, in the UK. Wow. He owns Bet another one, Betfred or something like that. I don't know, but then he has. I've seen him, grow from when he was younger than I am, when he was 25, when I was told maybe 30.
Oh, this person you're saying is younger than you are?
He's older than I am. He's older than I am. He's much older than I am. But I've seen him, grow. And I've kind of followed him, also. So if you do get him to sit down, you'll be hearing a lot of things.
How can that happen?
Well, you'll have to work hard. I mean, if you know Beat FM here, yeah, he owns Beat FM. So
we don't know Beat FM, we know you.
Well, like I said, he's my mentor. So
you gotta bring your mentor to come and mentor all of us.
Well, that's someone I look up to.
Yeah. Amazing. So Chris Obosi.
Go and research him.
We will research. 100%. We'll be on his matter. We'll be on his matter from today.
I mean, he knows this anyway, but he'll
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, I mean, the whole idea of this is to get people to come and encourage not just us, but to encourage everybody else all over Africa, all over the world. I mean,
and I, for one, I'm absolutely encouraged. I'm inspired, and I feel like tomorrow I'm waking up at 4 a.m. to work harder because there's things to be done.
Keep going.
Okay?
Regardless.
Gotta get to this money. We gotta get things accomplished.
We gotta get it, man. We gotta make it happen. I mean, Ropo, is there any last words? Anything you want to say?
Whatever you do, just make sure you're happy. That's what it is. Not all about money every time for me. A lot of times it's about how it's about creating. It's about creating that solution for me a lot of times, and delivering that thing that most people are not seeing. And then when you've delivered it, move on to the next. For me, that's how it works anyway.
Keep moving. Actually, keep walking, innit? Keep walking. Keep grinding. That sounds like someone that's going to sponsor this drink. Anyway, but really, Ropo, thank you so very much, man. Cokobar. I mean, you've inspired so many lives. You've entertained so many people over the years, from different generations, people growing up, like you said, from when they were 14 to when they are 40, that kind of thing. And then so many of them really, like, of course, she's raising her hand, which is part of the reasons Nom's on this set today. Thank you so very much, boss, for honoring, for finally deciding to be here. We're really massively grateful. I mean, we're honored to have you, and really thank you very much, boss, again.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure talking to you and getting to know you. And hopefully after this, we'll get more into your brains. And I'm taking out a notebook. I'm writing everything and making sure that I'm taking risks. What else did I learn? I am hustling harder and just keeping focused and being happy.
Wow, taking risks, hustling harder, keeping focused, and being happy. Come on, Noms. Noms summarize it all for us today. Thank you very much, Noms, for coming and making this happen with me. Like I said, I was really scared.
Pleasure.
I was going to make it happen, but we have done it. We've done it. Come on, man. It's Hero's Diary. We'll see you again. Peace out.